Welcome. Those of you who are watching, we are here. The Comic Cinema crew presents the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 2 spoiler discussion. Of course, we got our brethren Chris over here and our special guest for Boba Fett and other things as well. The creator, the architect, Mr. Josh Warren. What's going on, Josh?
Greetings, Jedi Masters. How we doing?
Real good, man.
We're good, man. We're good. And let's dive right into it. Chris, I'm gonna let you go off, man. How'd you like this episode?
Oh man, it gave me everything I wanted and more. I was saying to you earlier, I had to pinch myself a couple times to see that I wasn't watching a movie. You know what I mean? It was that good. The special effects were off the chain. We got to see some fresh new characters. You know, the whole what do you call it? The
Tusken Raiders.
Tusken Raiders, their whole
flashback. Yeah.
The flashbacks, fantastic. You know, I love that whole vision quest he went on, all that stuff. And then it just left me wanting more, man. I hate that this is a weekly thing. I want to binge it like I'm binging Karate Kid right now, you know, or Cobra Kai, yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think over like the last 2 years, especially being home for, I just think weekly's better, man. You get that anticipation more.
Sure, yeah,
and stuff. So I kind of like that a little better. Josh, what'd you feel? You a good, quick overall review of it or thoughts about it?
Absolutely, this is exactly what I was expecting from a series like this about a legendary character. And you know, Chloe and I really love this episode, probably better than the first one. And you can see as a whole, the character development is top draw. And I feel like if you're a Star Wars fan, I'm not sure how you can't enjoy a deep dive into the lore of a legendary character and not be pleased. And Miguel, this episode was 53 minutes, so I thought you'd be definitely pleased.
It was a bit longer, wasn't it? It went by so fast for me, though.
Yeah, Josh talked about, because we talked about the Mandalorian for years, how short it was.
Yeah,
you know, so I was definitely, especially that first season, he had like 25-minute episodes. That was so
yeah.
But yeah, I was definitely. You know what's crazy? When I'm watching it, I was like, this feels a little longer than normal because it kept going.
Yeah,
and like they're on like this certain part which we'll get into. I'm like, they're not done yet, and the episode's still going on. So I was like, wow, this was pretty cool.
Absolutely, and to Chris's point, I mean, just like in the MCU, we say in Feige we trust. Oh my gosh, John and Dave. They're taking Star Wars to heights that we never thought, especially after the prequel series and then the follow-up sequel to the original trilogy. So, and of course, Feige has his hands in the Star Wars galaxy as well. So I'm sure that's probably his dream team right there. John and Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau.
And mad props to Robert Rodriguez, dude. He killed it.
No credit to your girl Kathleen Kennedy, Josh.
I'm sorry, who? I lost her number. Sorry, I don't know who that is.
Man, she's got to go, bro.
Before we dive down that rabbit hole, I agree. John and Dave are great. What's great about them is you can tell they've been Star Wars fans. They were kids, probably. So they're so into the lore, into the callbacks and the Easter eggs and all that stuff. So, and Dave, he's like a super nerd with this stuff. So we definitely trust them as well. So this episode though, it does pick right up from where we left off when they got the I think it's a Knight Rider, they said, part of the group he's with, this ninja guy, and they're trying to question him. He's not giving any answers. We got Boba, looking on the throne, looking great on the throne next to Finnick, and then he's not giving the answers. Doesn't matter what they say, and then we get the old callback to them dropping him in the pit. What's it called again? The Sarlacc
Rancor.
Pit. I mean Rancor. The Rancor. Yeah. So how do you guys feel about that? The whole part right there.
What's not to love about that, man? But I wish we could have seen maybe the bones of a Rancor down there when it opened and there was nothing there. Man, but that guy started peeing his pants real quick. He was ready to talk, bro.
Yeah. I wish they would have had another Rancor down there. That would have been pretty dope. Actually.
Yeah, but you didn't say how you felt about it, Mike, the episode in general.
Oh, okay.
I want to hear your point.
Okay.
I was disappointed when you told me when I first heard your reactions to it. I was like, are you serious?
I might have to watch the episode again. I did watch it at 3 a.m. when it first airs. Maybe I was a little tired when it came on. I tried to.
Oh man!
I was definitely having a. What I tell you when we first came on here, Chris, I said when they had the callbacks, which we'll get into, there's less dialogue because of who the Tusken Raiders are. So that point, maybe because it was 3:20 in the morning, it was kind of hard for me to stay alert. But
I mean, would you say you were disappointed?
I'm gonna tell you why, though. But I'll get to why. I was slightly disappointed from what I was expecting, but I'll get into why as we talk about it more. You know, not a horrible episode though, but I expect a little bit more. So, Josh, the Rancor part, what would you think about that and the whole first scene?
That was great, and as Chris alluded to, we've seen these new characters because I never heard of Order of the Nightwind. I thought that was interesting. So, you know, the Assassin's Order, and as Fennec says, maybe they're resting on their laurels a little bit because it might be more of a legend, right? They may not be able to back up, you know, all that, especially since she was able to capture them alive, and they had 2 of them. So she might have some credence with that. But I thought that was cool, and you can also see the struggle that Boba Fett still has, and we'll get into this later, because he's still not afraid of him, right? It wasn't until Fennec, who, let's be honest, who is more the muscle of the two, and she makes the decision like, oh yeah, let's put him in the Rancor pit. And, you know, ultimately I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, wait a minute, Boba Fett didn't have any, you know, he was like, oh, he didn't say no, stop, because I feel like he would have. So that let me know that perhaps there may not be someone in there. They're just playing a little bit of chicken here, you know, a little bit of possum, which was great.
You know, I agree with that, and also like it makes you think how like you know, back when the original Star Wars, Boba Fett was the one who was feared, right? You know, and kind of had that name you're talking about. We're like, you know, we don't want to worry about the Mandalorian. So now it's kind of like with Fennec, like you said, she's the muscle. But I thought that scene, to your point, Josh, did show the dichotomy between the two of them, and how we still see that he's more kind of rule a certain way. I mean, she's just straight up like, you know, if they ain't doing what we want, take them out. You know, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then we move forward and we see that he says he does get scared and says it was the mayor at that point, which was funny. And of course, callbacks in that scene to, you know, speaking of callbacks, we've got a call back from our other member of the Comic Cinema
All
crew,
right,
Mr. E Money.
You.
Apparently, he was in the wrong galaxy, far away. We welcome young Jedi.
Right.
Yo, real quick, that robot that is Boba's servant, 8D8, I believe his name, right? That's voiced by Matt Berry. Did you ever know? You ever watch What We Do in the Shadows?
What We Do in the Shadows?
A comedy series about vampires. It's on, I think it's either Amazon or whatever. He plays the voice of that robot, and that guy's hilarious.
Yeah, Star Wars does a great job, you know, for many years getting good voice actors. You never know who they are and stuff like that.
Absolutely, just like how Daniel Craig made his cameo in one of the Star Wars films.
Did he? I didn't know that. Okay.
And what's it called? Force Awakens.
Gotcha. Okay. Which was one of the better new ones.
Oh, my man got the galaxy spinning on top. Okay, E. Okay.
Yeah, you know a little something.
I'm mad the brush got the attachment like to the head.
This is the way.
This is the way. E, before we keep moving forward, what was your just a quick overview of the episode, your overall thoughts?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I like the beginning was better for me because I'm sick of the flashbacks. I'm ready for some.
I'm gonna get into that. I said what I said. Okay, all right, but anyway, so we're at the beginning. So you're right on time. So we're talking about the part where the guy, Club. Oh, that was for you. Yeah, see that.
Easy.
Oh, we got some chats.
Okay.
So we're talking about the ninja and that he wouldn't give any information, so they dropped him in the Rancor pit, and then he got all scared and gave it up. What do you think about that scene, E?
I really thought the Rancor was down there, and I had to think to myself, like, wait a minute. Oh, nope. Luke did his thing. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really did, though. I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, we about to get the Rancor.
I thought we'd at least see a skeleton or something, though. That would have been pretty cool.
Where was the skeleton? Well, I don't know. We didn't see them. Wasn't it twin guards?
Yeah, well, maybe that keeper, the Rancor keeper, probably like buried it or something because it was his pet. And he was quite upset.
And he was crying. Yeah, he was crying.
He was crying over that. Okay,
yeah, he was crying.
All right, so that he does give it up, like I said before, was the mayor, and then they decided to go to the mayor's office, and then they first of all he has this asshole secretary in the front, which pissed me off.
That was hilarious, though.
Yeah, and then we see the mayor's, I guess, underling come back out, and then they finally go in. They see the mayor, which you spoke about too earlier, Chris, with another cameo, which you can let us know.
Yeah.
And then they get this whole interaction between the mayor and Boba Fett, and you kind of see they have this power struggle, right away to me, as far as like Boba's trying to stake his claim, and the mayor's kind of like not having it, or in that way. So that whole scene inside the mayor's office, Chris, what do you think about that, bro?
I really like that one because it's the first time we really got to see an Ithorian. That's the alien that the mayor was, who was also voiced by Robert Rodriguez. I knew that voice was familiar, and I was like, oh man, so I had to look it up like right away. And he's kind of like, I didn't hire this guy, but here, they're not allowed to operate outside of hut space. Here's your money. So I thought that was weird. So they kind of made the plot thicken a little bit.
All right, Josh, your thoughts on the scene with the mayor's office?
I love the build-up because as he's walking through the town, it reminds me of that old adage, especially in mafia and mob type of content. You always want to be the smartest person in the room, and it's clearly that Boba Fett is not, because the rest of the town, you could tell by looking in their eyes, by them looking at him, they knew who sent them. They're like, oh, you're on the wild goose chase. You're not going to the right location, because it wasn't the mayor who sent them, and we'll get to that later. But then, as you said, absolutely. So as you said, Miguel, you have that power struggle, and it's kind of like them, the mayor talking in circles and whatnot, and really having the authority in the room. And at the end of the day, whenever would someone like Jabba the Hutt go visit one of his underlings, and Boba Fett's really walking and seeing, he's going to see everybody. And then what happens after the mayor scene, which we'll get into there, but you can tell that his whole ruling by respect is not getting him any respect at all in this mafia underworld syndicate.
Right. And that's what I was going with that. Like, first I wanted to say I agree with you, Josh, about the mayor. And then I was thinking, why did the guy say the mayor sent him anyway? I was thinking that through the whole episode. I was thinking to myself, why would the guy say the mayor sent him? When the Rancor is about to eat him.
So you don't believe them? So you don't believe the mayor sent him? You think he lied?
Well, we do know that.
I think the mayor.
We do know who really sent them, and maybe they asked the mayor to send him or something, but it wasn't him directly.
Nah, I think it was the mayor. I think the mayor.
Or maybe the guy was just told who he was hired by, but doesn't know who he was working for. We'll never know. He's dead.
Oh yeah, that could be right there.
I mean, the mayor did kill him right away to shut him up for a reason.
Yeah, or was he covering his tracks?
Right.
See, right. And for real, I feel like Boba Fett has a lot of restraint. I don't think I would have that much restraint running something like that. Like, how Jabba had to live. You know how it gets down there. That's the city. That's basically Wild Wild West with laser guns and shit. So you gotta be on your stuff. You gotta be on point. And I agree to respect. That's not gonna get him nowhere. That's gonna get him trampled on every time. If he has no little bit of fear, like no fear at all, you're gonna get trampled on.
Yeah.
All right. And then and I agree with you, because what I can see, Josh and Chris as well, is like this, like you said, Jabba trying to rule Boba trying to rule with respect, and as you said, he not getting him nowhere, and I think it's building up to him having like a turn, like forget this
straight
whole
dark, right?
thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to start ruling my way. I think they're building him up by planting seeds that by trying to rule with respect, he's not getting respected, right? Overall.
Yeah, so it's going to be a long fight.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen at the end of the day. That is, so whatever. I'm not E. I'm sorry. So Josh, you said in the next scene, the mayor then sends him back to the cantina, and he goes in there, and before he can even decide to sit down at the bar, you hear the stomps, you hear the foot. I mean the drums. I'm sorry, the drums. Woo! And you hear, and then you go outside, And so before you see that, they say the twins are coming, obviously, and you go outside, and before when they said that, who do y'all think it was when they said the twins were coming?
Honestly, I had no idea.
I had no idea
at first.
Because when y'all first was saying twins in the message, I thought you guys were talking about the green ones, the green pig face dudes.
Oh, the Gamorreans?
Yeah,
I knew it had to be someone of Jabba's lineage, because there couldn't be only one of him in the galaxy, and we see in the previous content there's more of them, right? So as soon as I heard it, and it's you see these type of motifs in movies and cinema when you have someone else who brings out the traditional ways. Yeah. So we see this underground mafia syndicate. They have a lot of let's say Stockholm syndrome from Jabba the Hutt running things, so they're used to that fear. And when you have the drums, it reminds me of Inglourious Bastards when you hear the dude hitting the baseball bat and you don't see him. It just those
that
drums,
tunnel scene, that was
exactly.
dope.
It just strikes fear in you, right? And when you have that, and you can hear that the drums are striking fear in everyone, and it causes attention. And it's exactly what is necessary to gain the respect of this world. So I thought, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, it has to be someone. I didn't know it was going to be the twins, right? But I knew it had to be there had to be someone of and I'm sorry, I forget Jabba's alien race, but I knew it had to be someone from his species out there. And again, is the Hutts are gangsters, so there's multiple. So I knew one had to show up eventually, and it was great the way that they did it this way with the twins. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So, but I asked because some people thought when they said the twins are coming that it might have been Luke and Leia when I was reading stuff about it. But people forget they are twins, right?
Well,
so,
yeah, you're right there. That's the only real twins that we knew about in the Star Wars universe.
Right. Right.
Yeah. All right. So, but the twins do come, and it's Jabba's cousins, and we get the whole back and forth, another power struggle, right? A second time in this episode. This episode was a lot of power struggles, actually. Now think about it, but between Boba and the Hutts, and then we see Fennec tell him that you need permission to kill them, actually, so you can't even kill them right now.
Yeah, you need permission.
Yeah, and I'll get to that too. And then of course we get the Easter egg. What's his name? Chris Black Chrysanthemum, I think.
Chrysanthemum, Chrysanthemum.
Black Chewie.
Yeah,
Black Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, Black Chrysanthemum, the gladiator and stuff. Yeah. And we get that scene, and you see that standoff as well, which is another power struggle happening at the same time. It's going back and forth. So I'm loving this tension with some of it with less dialogue. I feel like it's great.
Can I ask you something? Did he hit him with a low blow though? I felt like he hit him with a low blow when he was like, "This is not the pits of blah blah blah."
Yeah,
and I'm not a sleeping guard from da 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 da.
Yeah, he was saying yo,
you escaped from a sleeping guard. You get out of here.
Yeah, he was basically saying like you ain't what they're trying to say you are, basically. Yeah. But then like I said, basically the Hutts are saying, bro, like that was our cousin spot, so we taking it back. And Jabba's saying, Boba's saying, nah, like I killed Bib Fortuna, he took it over, and now I'm taking over. So
he's saying you want it, you gotta kill me. You gotta get some of this.
After I killed Bib Fortuna, and then we see it's kind of a standoff, and then they kind of say like, this ain't the time to shed blood right now, and then they kind of go away. So I'm gonna start with you, Jock. What do you think about that whole interaction between them?
Woo.
I mean, it was great. I love the power struggle, and it even ties into what the last thing the mayor said, that family is a lot difficult to run than being a bounty hunter. So maybe the mayor even knew, right, that okay, you have the twins coming, type of thing, and maybe that's even what the other citizens of the city were looking at, like, oh, you don't even know about the twins, because you wouldn't be walking here, you wouldn't be walking to the mayor's office, you wouldn't be going to the cantina. Right, because the twins are coming, but don't worry, you'll see them later, type of thing. So I thought that was great. You can see that the twins have a similar relationship to Boba Fett and Fennec. I saw those parallels, as the sister's probably going to be more of the muscle. Yep. The brother probably talks more for them.
I think, I was about to say the brother might be the brains.
Okay. Any more thoughts on a Black Chrysanthemum as well, Josh? What we saw the other.
Oh yeah, I thought that was cool, and it reminded me of what was it? The There was that was that one character they had before that they had to defeat. I forget where, but it reminded me of that. The name mistakes me right now, but
it happened before when in Star Wars.
And Mandalorian, there's that one person who was with the I forget.
Are you talking about when they went to free those people off that ship, the slaves or whatever, the one that Bill Burr was in that episode, or
no?
I ain't talking about that.
He's talking about like
there was that big Twi'lek, right? Who was like that guy was jacked and Mando like clowned him.
He'll come to him. Yeah. Chris, what do you think about that whole interaction though between the Hutts?
All right, so we didn't know of any twins, right? And when I saw these two Hutts come out, I did a little research on it, and apparently there was nothing in canon about Jabba's twins. But I remember in a Clone Wars episode, there was an episode where somebody kidnapped Jabba's son. Yes, he has a son. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe the cousins or the twins were the ones who sent Obi-Wan and them to find them. But anyway, and the reason why you can't kill the Hutts without asking, right? So the Hutts are a crime syndicate, and Tatooine is just one planet they operate in, right? But crime syndicates do have laws and rules as well. So I don't believe I know who you have to speak to order a hit like that, but it's got to be done through this, or you're going to get, whacked altogether. And those poor people that were carrying those Hutts, bro, you saw it in their faces, the pain and how they were just like, "Oh, we're dirt, man.
Oh yeah,
this is our life. We got to."
Weren't they them aliens, right, with the yellow eyes?
Oh yeah, there was a bunch of different species carrying them. I guess they're just slaves, like how Jabba the Hutt had slaves, right?
Yeah, but the ones that were carrying him, they were in Return of the Jedi when they was holding Luke and them all hostage. They were standing there.
Yeah. And Black Chrysanthemum, that is the most badass looking Wookiee I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Star Wars, dude.
I
want to see what he's got.
I don't want to see him at night.
Apparently, he got that scar on his face from Obi-Wan. Which is interesting. It's in the comics, which actually was from a Marvel comic as well. So he first appeared in Darth Vader #1 in 2015. So yeah, that whole thing, how they're bringing in people from canon, introducing these new characters. This episode had everything, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hopefully they show that battle in the Obi-Wan series.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I hope. Well, we'll get to that later, but the two people we were talking about before, I hope they're in it too.
Gotcha. E, the thoughts on the whole scene with the Hutts,
the
Black Chrysanthemum, all that stuff.
I loved it. I was definitely caught off guard off the Hutts, especially it was two of them up there that these people was carrying.
So
you're carrying one Hutt, right? You're carrying one Hutt is enough, but two,
right.
So they're carrying two. And I like the sister for real. For her sister was talking real greasy. And she was looking at him real greasy too when they was turning around.
I like how she talked with that fan over her mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All sly and shit.
Brother, I love that.
While my man is wiping the sweat off his face with a mouth.
What was that? Was that I thought it was a rubber ducky. Then I looked at it again.
It's food, I guess, man. Like how Jabba used to reach in for a frog and eat it.
Yeah.
He was wiping his head with it. Dude, they were so gangster, dude. That's exactly what they are. Gangster.
That was gangster. That was. I enjoyed it. The Black Wookiee caught me off guard too. I never seen that till you guys had me look it up. And because when I'm in Star Wars, I usually like Jedis and Force. That gets me. That's what my story knowledge goes to. But when I seen that right there, it opened it up for me. Now I want to know more.
Yep.
Absolutely. And as you guys all alluded to, I love how they set up the twins as kind of like the big bad, kind of like a Carlton, Kingpin Fisk. I love that. Right. And you always know that they're going to be, worse than you. So I feel like that's why the rest of the town really wants a Hutt to be there, because when you have someone who rules by fear, it kind of takes the morality off of the responsibility of morality out of your hands, because you can at least be like, oh, I'm not as bad as Jabba the Hutt. I'm not as bad as the Hutts. And that power extends to you, right? As opposed to dealing with respect. Respect is more honor based because he's Mandalorian lineage.
But there's no honor in that.
There's no honor in thieves, right?
Right.
There is no honor in thieves.
Yeah, there's no honor in the streets. So if you're trying to run that and rule that, you got to play dirty. You got to be a pirate. That's basically how he has to come, like straight up, greedy, and I mean, he's doing good as far as taking what was that tribute? Taking
Right.
tribute,
Yeah.
he's doing good.
Yeah,
But I
give
mean,
him my tribute.
even Han Solo was more greasy than he was, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Han probably would have ruled that shit crazily too.
Well, we're gonna find out why he's a feared bounty hunter one of these episodes.
I mean, I already feel like he is because he hits harder than the Mandalorian. Like anybody knocking, he was literally breaking Stormtrooper's mask when he was hitting him.
Well, yeah, that's because of the next part, right? He's learning from the Tuskens, man.
Which good segue, E and Chris. So at that point, we do get back to a flashback, and
before you get there, Miguel, I love the writing and the editing because the last line that the Hutt cousin says, "Sleep lightly," and then we see him go to the Bacta tank.
Yeah.
So I mean, how vulnerable are you? So
you're vulnerable.
Man, you're right.
That's telling them that they're aware of your vulnerability. Sleep lightly.
Right. Dang.
Yeah. And while he was asleep, we got somebody here who's gonna wake us all up. We got another special guest for you guys, Mr. Main Games.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing?
What's going on?
What up, Jedi Master? How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How y'all feeling? Everything? I'm feeling like I'm missing out on some stuff, man. What have I been missing, man?
Man, so actually, you came at a good part. We were just like going to another part of the show, but you can give us your. But before we even get to that, how about you give us your overall thoughts of the episode? Just kind of like an overview.
Man, for me, I just enjoyed the hell out of it because I like a lot of the callbacks, like the Ichuta line with the droid, the callback to C-3PO and all those little things that they have in the show. I'm even like a nerd, like some voice actors or some talent. So like some of the one of the people, my favorite show is right now is What We Do in the Shadows, and one of the actors was the droid that was talking to Boba Fett. Right, that he was the one in there. Yeah, Matt Berry, he was in there. So
he's hilarious.
I'm just enjoying but I'm just enjoying a lot of those little callbacks and a lot of the different ways that they're using the shots. And I'm also like a cinema nerd, so it's like to see how it's a story that takes place or that was ushered in by the Mandalorian, but still has a different feel and look in a way that kind of makes it its own little thing. Like I love what I'm seeing so far. Just the episode itself, especially to episode 2. It made me smile a lot, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. All right. So it sounds like you're big on the whole Star Wars lore. Or are we going all the way back?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So we just finished talking about. So you can give us your thoughts on this because it's a big scene. The scene where he has the back and forth with the twins or the Hutts about the who should be taking over Jabba's place, and that whole conversation and the power struggle and coming out of the cantina. What do you think about that whole scene there, Maine?
To me, like I'm looking forward to some kind of plot or some kind of thing happening later on because they're planting seeds to me. Like the way that they handled that, it was like I think I caught it where Josh was saying, sleep lightly. It was like, yo, we ain't gonna do nothing right here, right now. It's messy. We're not gonna do that. But we just let you know we see you and we coming for that ass. Best believe. Best believe. We got a lot of people right here. You know what? Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. All the amenities are here. They're all for you. Just know we're coming for you. And I like that, man. So something's happening. Something's getting ready to go down. There's all these different things on Boba Fett's brain as he's taken over as the new daimyo. I guess you could say the daimyo. He's got a lot of things. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So it's like all these different things that they're setting up. He has this on his brain, but he's also a goddamn mercenary.
Right.
So it's like there's all these different things that are on his brain. So he has to figure out a way to use diplomacy, but he's a guy who don't really know how to use diplomacy. He ain't fit for this gig, but he may end up having to learn how to do that. But there's all these different things going on around him. He's like, wait, this is what this shit is like? This is nuts.
Now, do you feel like do you think he's like thinking to himself, like maybe I should just because I feel like he should just go harder, like straight up, like take note. When somebody disrespects, burn them, start blowing up stuff, shoot people, like get the job done right. Had them scared enough so they know you're not somebody to play with. because you killed you.
Yeah.
I mean, you took over Jabba the Hutt shit. You
True.
got to be somebody.
Right. I think what a smart move for Boba Fett to do right now is to survey the landscape of where he is, and he could still be that change. He could still be that guy who can torch people and assert his power and his dominance as the new daimyo, having taken over Jabba's spot. But at the same time, I think that which each new rule governs a new way to rule. So he's trying to figure out, okay, yeah, I'm gonna set some asses on fire. Don't best believe it's gonna happen. However, I'm also laying this foundation to where, like he said, he wants to build it upon respect. So he also wants to have that aspect too, which Jabba didn't have. So it's like he wants people to be like, okay, we can trust him. He's a man of the people. He has principles. But if you go too far, if you habitual line stepper, what did Charlie Murphy do? He stomped that ass out. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's he's trying to lay that foundation. Really. Yeah.
What was that, Chris? I didn't hear you, Chris. What you say?
Boba Fett's kind of like operating how the Godfather did. You know what I mean? Out of respect, but if you mess around, you're gonna get smoked, right?
Yep.
But I mean, space is kind of Earth. You could operate with that, and it's not. Space is a whole bunch of different races and beings.
When he walked out of that cantina and saw the Hutts, he knew he was in some shit.
I think I would. Somebody would have got hurt. I think I would have shot everybody that was carrying them.
But do you think he knew then, Chris? Or do you think he knew when he took over that he was going to be in some shit? Like he knew they were going to come.
I had predicted that maybe we would see like
something,
the Crimson Dawn or something like that, man. But when we seen the Hutts, that was I didn't expect that, and that's why I love this episode so much.
How about you, Josh? Do you think he knew at the moment he took over that he was going to be a problem, or do you think he thought it was an easy transition?
I'm sure he thought it was going to be an easy transition because of his predecessor, and no one was really stepping up, right? Because it's kind of like, what we're all wondering, where were the twins at? Y'all should have stepped up too. And it's not like y'all that young. Y'all were old enough to take over things. So what was y'all doing? But it could be, as E or Chris and Maine was alluding to, and Big Mike, you alluded to it as well. It is a huge family, the Hutts. So they're on multiple planets, as E's alluding to, when you're in galactic mafia syndicate land.
Right, there you go.
You got a lot of jurisdictions to rule over.
Boba had mentioned, like, how can the twins be here? They're having problems on Nal Hutta, their home.
Yep. See, look.
So maybe he thought he did not know that they were coming. I don't think he even said it, right?
Yeah, he thought he had it in the bag, like he said.
Yeah.
Oh, he thought they were on their home world.
That makes
dealing
sense.
with that.
But I will give credit to Boba Fett and Fennec, because they do have the higher ground in terms of battle.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I would say that the Hutts don't want any smoke with them, because all you got is the Black Wookiee, really, and I forget his name again. Mm-hmm. That's really all the protection they have. And don't get it twisted. That's probably enough, but it's probably not enough for them to.
I don't think it's enough.
He also has the Tusken Raiders in his back pocket. I'm curious to see
when
that relationship is going to be.
That's going to come,
because they're all over the place, and they have rough ones and nice ones. Like they're unique.
Sir.
So
yes, sir.
And
so he definitely has that.
His name is KRR Santan. Chris Santan.
Okay. Santan. I like that.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I speak to you about that, man. How'd you feel about him being there? And because he's a gladiator, supposedly.
Once again, I smiled. I was like, yo. When I saw that and he made his little growl, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, he had me off. Yeah, he caught me off guard with that. He looked like he was straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what is that?
Yeah,
that's something you don't want to see at night.
Word.
That was the craziest looking Wookiee I've
seen. His expression, that was the meanest Wookiee I've ever seen.
Chewbacca was intimidating, but this guy,
that was way worse than Chewbacca. I could hug Chewbacca.
Right.
I wouldn't touch him.
Yo, they can rip arms out of sockets, bro. I'm ready to see what he can do.
So what's the I guess the language? Is there a cap? Are we filtered, or what? Can we speak our mind?
YouTube.
Okay, so like when he looked at Boba Fett, it was like after the Hutts said what they said and they walked off, it looked like he looked at him and he was like, motherfucker. Then they just walked off.
Right. No, the angle though. The angle is what got me. I'm like, how the fuck he get that close? How did he get right there? He was close as hell.
I kind of want a series with just him, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Man.
And I hope we get a showdown between him and Chewbacca at some point.
Please let that happen.
Chewbacca better win. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, of course.
Man,
well,
I don't know. I don't know, man.
well,
The way he was looking, and he got that close, like Boba Fett turned to the side. Oh shit!
Yeah,
Like how you get that close? Like yeah. He was like
So he's like a
Yeah.
ninja Wookiee.
Fennec was ready to go too. Fennec was ready to go.
Right.
She armed her
His
weapon.
hand was
Yeah,
like right
but
here.
you
He was like,
you
let's
keep
go.
her breathing though. She was like,
Yeah.
once they was leaving, she had to get that breath out.
Shouts out to Ming Na too, man. She's great. She's always great.
Oh,
Oh,
amazing,
man.
amazing.
Solid.
Yeah,
Man.
like she made Agents of Shield like better than what it was.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh,
I
yeah,
haven't seen that.
She's
but
good
I
though.
believe it.
She's good. That's why they're doing good, man. I love it. I got people that watching it that don't even like Star Wars at all, and they're watching it. So
Exactly. I felt people felt that way about the Mandalorian as well.
Yep,
so
they
shout out
loved
to
it.
John and Dave
John.
and a splash of Kevin Feige.
Wait,
Of course.
She
Of
played
course.
Chun-Li in the old Street Fighter movie from 1994.
She did.
Yes.
did.
Yup,
She did.
yup.
Oh, I'm just seeing that now.
Yeah.
Yes,
She been here. She been here,
been
man.
here.
She been
Yup.
here.
Okay.
She like Cynthia Rothrock.
Which is a horrible movie, by the way. I'm sorry to say. They should do that movie again.
Oh no, it was bad. Yeah.
Yeah, especially the Miguel Nunez DJ. That was so bad.
Okay.
But anyway, so we got through everything that happened, on in the present. So then we get to the flashback, as I was saying, so apparently Chloe didn't like her Amanda. So we move forward. So we get to the flashback, like Josh said, sleep well. He goes to the Bacta tank. We all know now when he goes to the Bacta tank, he's going to have a flashback. So we go back to the Tusken Raiders, and the last episode we stopped off on them kind of showing him respect by offering him some of the water, and he's no longer a prisoner now. He's just with them. So we start with him kind of having this, I guess, low budget stick in the beginning, right? And he's training with the stick, and going back and forth, and we start to see him learning how to communicate with them. I think Chris spoke about that earlier. Communicate with them and having this, this good relationship. And then we see the train starts to come by and starts to take out some of those Tusken Raiders. So let's stop right there. Chris, how you felt about that whole part? The beginning of that part.
Like I said, with the whole Tusken Raider thing, I think I said this the last episode. We've always known them as like backwater savages, and and seeing them closer up and getting to know them, and like I'm actually like, I want to get me some Black Figure or Black Series Tusken Raiders, man. I want to collect them. I love them, man. Like I think they're great. And like I was alluding to you before, that whole scene is reminiscent to the old United States when we were building our railroad tracks out in the Midwest, that cowboys would take pot shots at Native American Indians as they were rolling through.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So that one kind of was like, wow, this is pretty neat how they did that. So at first I thought the train was also a crate dragon. Like something out of Dune, like the sandworms coming. I was like, oh, what is this? But yeah, that train was it was awesome. Yep.
Okay. And up to the train point, Josh, what do you think about the whole beginning part with the Tusken Raiders?
Oh yeah, I definitely loved it, and it's kind of what we spoke to in the beginning about how fantastic this character development is, and we get to see the the Tusken Raiders and essentially their culture, right? It's essentially Star Wars version of the Bedouin culture. I thought that was fantastic because there's certain logistical things you got to do when you live in the sand. If you're sand people, you gotta value water and things over everything else. You have to cover yourself because of the sandstorms and wind and whatnot. And I love how they, were teaching them how to fight. And then he was also teaching them skills as well, which I'm sure we'll allude to later. And I feel like that one warrior for the Tusken Raiders who kind of looks like Kylo Ren a little bit, they're definitely force sensitive. They definitely are.
I don't know about that.
Absolutely. They're definitely force sensitive.
Well, they show that a lot of things are force sensitive in that universe.
It's true. Yeah, that's very true. You just don't know how to tap into it. Right?
Yep.
Jedi training is.
Yep. You have to have that training.
The force
but every
flows
time
through
I see those people though, I'm not gonna lie. The first thing I think of is Darth Vader, or shall I say Anakin, slaughtering all of them.
Oh yeah.
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 even the women and the children.
And I'm gonna get to a question, but just that whole scene up until the train shooting them, taking them out one by one. How you felt about that, bro?
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was good. Well, like I said, they're them, like me seeing them as people, that opened my eyes up more to them. It made me feel like if I was out there, I want to learn that shit too. I want to see what they could teach me too.
For real.
And now I see why he was so strong when he was doing those moves. A lot of that stuff makes sense now. Like a lot of stuff makes sense. It did good. The train I thought was crazy because they started firing first, and I had to pay attention to that to make sure I was seeing that correctly. Because again, I'm used to them being savages. So at first I thought the train was doing what they should do.
Yeah, like in the prequels, the very first episode, while during the pod race, right? They were taking pot shots at the pod racers just for shits and giggles, right? So,
yeah. Hey, man, how you felt about the up until the train part when the train started firing on them? How you felt about that?
Man, one word, to be honest, awesome. I enjoyed it, man. I think for me, when I'm watching the show, a lot of shows now, I have moments where I dissect a lot of things, and there's moments where I just suspend all that and just enjoy it for what it is for a brief moment. And that, to me, honest, was a good scene that I just really enjoyed. My son, even, he's not really up on Star Wars. He was like this the whole time. Oh, and to me, I was like, I looked at him and I was like,
get him educated right away.
Exactly.
I enjoyed it, man. Can I make one other point real quick?
Man, take them all, man.
What I was saying about in the pod race when they were taking pot shots, right? From that aspect, you think they're villains, but the entire Dune Sea is their land. They were the first ones, the Tusken Raiders. So these people are intruding on their land, right?
Been violated. All these colonizers on there going crazy.
They don't have technology. They don't have speeder bikes. They have laser rifles, but they're just trying to live, and all these people from outer space are coming to the planet and taking over.
Right, and then
their piece of the pie, man.
And we're calling them savages.
So right.
Exactly.
You were okay with them taking on Anakin's mom, Chris?
Oh.
Why did that happen? Right? Maybe because she was out going to work on those water thingies, and she got captured by them because she was trespassing on their territory.
Woo!
Okay.
The water sicker, right?
Right.
They didn't kill her.
Fair enough.
They didn't kill her, but she died from her wounds or whatever when Anakin got there. And Anakin, just being the evil son of a bitch he is, went out and wiped out, almost like.
Well, I feel like, to be fair to Anakin, if that would have happened to my mom,
we all would have reacted like that. I think every soul would have reacted like that.
Oh, but, exactly.
I mean, a whole village. Though. I mean, it was kids. It was sand kids.
Yeah, that to me was a little. I was like, all right, Anakin, okay.
Yeah, he got dark.
Okay.
He got real dark.
Your point.
No, I mean he already shipped the younglings though, right?
So I was just about to say that.
Right, true. Right, yeah.
When that blade joint hit up on the youngling, I was like, oh.
But that was before the younglings part, though.
It was, but it just showed you how dark he can get.
Yeah, man.
That was savage.
Yeah. That's what makes Vader so.
Master Anakin.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, and that Obi-Wan series can't come soon enough.
Oh my God, that's gonna be crazy. Seeing Darth Vader again, I'm all with it.
Yeah,
exactly.
The way they did him in Rogue.
Oh man, and that's what I was getting ready to say. When I saw him in Rogue, I was like, "Oh shit!"
That's one of the best, most iconic scenes in movies.
They turned that into the most iconic scenes ever. When he put that dude on the ceiling, he was like,
"Wait, which one?"
Rogue One.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best Darth Vader scene out of all of them.
Ever.
That was so iconic, dude. Amazing.
Yeah, the original looked like James Earl Jones was under the helmet.
Oh, we lost E.
He laughing so hard, we lost him.
Yo, he used too much force in that laugh.
He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
They're kind of used to this whole thing, the Tusken. Yeah. So I'm assuming that this train goes by often, and they just shoot for fun at people. They don't have any grief with anybody or nothing like that, but they're just shooting at target practice, basically. I'm sure he'll be back. So But we do see, Boba's not having it. He's like, nah, we're not gonna stand for this. Like, this is ridiculous. Why are they even shooting at us in the first place? So he comes up with a plan to try to help them out. Hold on, the force is back with us right now.
My bad.
Welcome back.
Look like you got force choke, bro.
Oh my god.
We found out TJ force choked you over there. You had to
Yeah,
Right.
I had to move.
So like he's not having it. So he comes up with a plan, and he sees the guys on the speeder bikes, same guys that he saw last week, the last episode. And I guess in his mind, now we didn't know his plan, obviously, but he had a plan in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to where they're at, harassing everybody in there, being just like a biker gang, basically, which you know as today. And then he basically becomes that badass you wanted to see. He takes them out.
Right, takes them out.
One by one, and he takes the bikes. So let's stop right there, man. What you guys think of that scene? Let's start with Maine this time. What do you think of that whole scene, bro? So.
Man, like the way that he goes in there, I kept like saying like, yo, he was the only person in there. He even broke his gun. Like he broke his rifle. It was like, well, fuck it, staff time. And it ended up like still slapping every single person. And then I'm a wrestling fan. So just like Stone Cold says, show up, raise hell, then leave. He walks in there, whoops ass, don't say nothing. He takes a drink and walks his ass right up out that room. At that cantina, and then after that, looks at the bike, goes, I like you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he gets on one, and it's like his mind just goes, fuck it, and he just shows up with all of them. Like I thought that was super dope, man.
Yeah, that
super
was
dope.
That was.
Yeah, I agree, Josh. Sorry, go to you, buddy.
Oh, absolutely. That scene was fantastic, very powerful, and then we also remember how much Boba Fett really knows about the soul of Tatooine. Like he understands the culture there and what is necessary to get things done. So I thought that was fantastic. And we get to see his honor and respect because he did ask nicely. He always asked nicely, and they didn't want to listen. They did what I would say prototypical, not like all biker gangs are like that, but just kind of like, oh yeah, you're not gonna show us up type of type of alpha male type of things like that. And he was like, all right, well. It's kind of like he's not the smartest person in the room, but he's the most tactically aware person in the room. So I always give him credit for that, especially being the Mandalorian. And at first I thought it was going to be like the traditional when you beat up the biker gang, you kick over the bikes, but he took the speeders instead, which I thought that was great. And then we get to see, and I'll stop it right here. You get to see how, the Tuskens are still scavengers at the end of the day. So their natural instinct was to break down it and break down.
Yo,
parts. And he was like, wait. And he showed them something new. I thought that was cool too.
Yeah. At first he said, these are mine. But
these are mine.
Right. Yeah.
That's part of the culture. That makes sense. That was cool too.
Yeah, but hey, man, just the whole scene and that cantina, him taking them out and taking those bikes. We thought about that, bro.
I thought that was great, man. Like, I mean, that's what I wanted from him anyway. I want to see him in action, and when I see him in action, I'm pleased. He gets it done. He gets the job done. When he came back with the bikes, I loved it. When they started taking it apart, I was hollering because I just had a feeling that's what they was about to do. I knew none of them was gonna hop on top of those.
Chris, how you feel about that whole scene, buddy? I know some callbacks.
Here's what's really, really cool about that entire scene, okay? That was actually Tashi Station that Luke talked about going to get power converters for. That's number one. Number two, that scene was almost scene per scene of Terminator 2 when Arnold went into the bar, beat all those guys' ass, threw the dude through the window, and then left with their bikes.
Oh,
How
shit.
cool is that?
Yeah.
That's dope.
You're right.
Yeah. And number three, those were the same friends that Luke had in it.
Those were Nitco swoop gangs. That was those swoop bikes. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I
love how the bar owner wasn't phased at all. He was just cleaning up, like, oh yeah, regular man.
Yeah, he was like, man.
Those non-aliens too are supposedly canonical friends of Luke when he was younger that were cut out of a scene. Were cut out of the New Hope scene, so that where they weren't in the original movie. So they are actually real characters. And I think their names are Cammy and Fixer.
Wow.
Yeah. The humans,
They might be in Obi-Wan.
No. The humans that was inside the bar that they were.
The non-alien.
Dude who was about to get beat up by the biker gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not fair.
Right. Yeah. It was with Luke's
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah, it was Luke Friends actually. Yeah, and back in the 70s.
So why he ain't say nothing? I'd be like, man, I know Luke.
Right?
That's true.
Don't
Yeah,
touch
but
me. I know Luke.
Luke ain't here though.
He
Yeah,
ain't
he
been
ain't
back
there.
since he left, right? I don't think he ever went back until he died, right? Did Luke ever go back to Tatooine again?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
know.
They right now they can do so much right now.
Man.
I think he did though, because we'll get back to that later.
Nah,
but anyway,
Yeah. It's not important right now.
Yeah, it's not important. But anyway, he and Josh kind of already alluded to. He does take all the bikes, and then they start taking them apart. He's like, "Yo, hold on, these are mine." You know what I mean? So we get this whole montage of them trying to learn how to ride the bikes. Pretty elongated long montage of them, falling off of it, trying to ride on the back and jump onto his. And then the chief watching the whole time, right? You always see the chief of them watching and seeing what's going on, which I like that too. And then they come with the plan. The younger one's going to give them the signal for the train after they learn how to ride the bike, and to see what's going on. How you just quickly touch on that montage, Josh? How you felt about that part?
I thought that was good because eventually I felt like we did see them on speeders at some point in Star Wars. So I thought like this might be the beginning of when you see the Tusken Raiders learning how to use the speeders and whatnot. So I thought that was cool. And then that learning curve is always going to be steep for them, right? Because they're not used to riding this type of technology. So I thought that was accurate as well. So to your point, Miguel, baby, that's why I had to be a little bit lengthier for the audience to believe that they can actually learn to be tactical and to the degree to take down the train in a Fast and Furious type of way.
It did remind me of Fast 5 a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Maine, how you feel about the whole learning how to ride the bikes montage and them coming up with the plan to take down the train?
First off, that shit was mad funny, man. Like first off, like watching them like hop and miss, and like even the one, I forgot which one it was, but it was like he had made it, and then like shortly after he
fell off
and he just flew off. Like bro, like I was hollering, man, and it was cool to see, because especially after when that conversation they had, I said, yo, like they have technology and we don't. You know what I mean? Like all this stuff that they have that we don't match up. And the way that Boba taught them, it was also reminiscent of, now I'm a big Eternals guy, I'm a big Marvel guy, just the way that they introduced technology to the earlier beings of the people who didn't have that before. It was like, it was them just showing them, hey, this is what you can do. This is what you have. Work with what you got. If you don't know, you don't have the materials, here you go. I'll teach you. And then after that, the montage happened. They was badass writers. And it worked out.
Bro, I did not know that. We got to get you on one of these Comic Cinema Crew shows. We talk about everything Marvel.
Do you see the shirt?
I see. Luke Cage, your boy.
Oh yeah, that's my boy.
Come on, man.
That's my boy. And he needs to be done right.
Yeah, we did a whole show on the Eternals actually, so that's pretty cool. Chris, how about go to you, man? How you feel about
I think Maine said everything that I want to say about that. Cool. So yeah, we can move on.
All right, move on. So the plan's in place now. So the train's coming, and then they go and to try. Now this is where the action is just crazy, like Chris said earlier. At one point, it's just a little bit of a lot of different train sequences, which are always good in most movies. Trains are a good thing to use. And climax of the shit is live, bro. It's cool. In movies. So I'm not gonna go frame by frame. I want you guys touch on this whole train sequence. Chris, why don't you go off? Let's see the talk last time.
The cool thing, those guys inside that train are part of a syndicate called the Pike, Pyke. They were also in I believe Clone Wars. Yeah, those aliens that they're take off their masks and they're fish people.
Yeah.
And they were hauling spice through the desert, which spice apparently in Star Wars is a drug.
Like it doing. It remind me of doing a little bit actually.
It is a dude callback right there. Yeah. Because that was funny after he defeated the train. He's like,
oh yeah,
you guys carrying spice? He's like, I don't even know what spice looks like, and it falls off the train. He's like, it looks like that.
This isn't looking good for you.
I like the robot conductor too. I thought that was an interesting little guy.
How the robot just left? I'm out.
Yeah, about.
Yeah. So that was really cool.
What about the action sequences, Chris?
Very good action sequence. Very good.
Okay, Josh, Your thoughts on the whole train sequence?
Yeah, I thought that the action sequence was great. How they had to gradually get on top of the train and attack their grappling hooks and whatnot. I thought that was cool. And as Chris alluded to, the droid train conductor, I thought that was an interesting twist, which actually led to the result of why they were running Spice through there. Because usually, you typically you would think they would have an actual conductor if they were going to do all this, but it was interesting that they used a droid. So I thought that was let's say the people running the Spice seemed that it was an easy route, so much that they can just use the droid and a couple of shooters and they would be fine. But they learned that day that they
Not
would
no more.
with somebody else.
Yeah, they're gonna make people pay to travel through the Tuscan lands, and Boba is gonna enforce that now, and I think that's awesome.
And I love the way.
is.
Thank you, Chris. I love the way how he phrased it. This is their inherited land. This is their ancestral land, as you guys alluded to. They're indigenous to this land. So I thought that was fantastic as well.
You're gonna pay tribute to them if you want to come operate here.
And you're not gonna get no water. You're gonna drink milk like you had them drinking milk. They survived off it. You can survive off it.
And that was cool though when they said, "Oh, but we'll die if we make this trip," and he said, "No harm will come to you with the Tuscans."
Right.
You know what I mean? I love that, man, so much. I
loved it too. Because this isn't looking good for you.
Bro?
You know what? Honestly, the same. I agree with everybody else, man.
Okay.
Same.
Right. Yeah. I liked also, everything you said. That I like the I think it was the female Tuscan, and when she went in the train and popped up and stuff like that, and they were like the people behind her didn't know it was her. At first, and then she went and took them out. I thought that was pretty dope as well.
She's badass, man.
Yeah.
Really.
She's the one with the darker outfit, right?
Yeah.
She's definitely
that's probably force sensitive, right? That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Man,
everybody has like a force sensitive person.
Maybe, man. Maybe.
Think about it. In Star Wars, every species has a force sensitive person.
And it makes sense because they really don't have any contact with Jedi, so they're able to be found.
Okay, maybe I was thinking that. They were Jedi. No, right? But almost everybody is force sensitive in some aspect, right?
Right.
So I feel you. Then because she's above average Tuscan Raider,
right?
She's force sensitive. I agree with you guys. I'm sorry.
I thought you were mad about like about Finn and the new one. They ain't like
they did him dirty because he was. I don't talk. Finn was force sensitive. Finn heard the people screaming on the planet, and then they did nothing with it. He was trying to tell Rey when
he felt when Rey got killed. He felt that.
Yeah, he felt all that. He felt all of that. And
he picked up a lightsaber for the first time and did incredibly well.
I think they're just going to save it for the next trilogy.
Yeah.
After John Boyega cursed him out, I think that ship has
done. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah. It was good up till Last Jedi. That last one was just.
They're just going to have to redeem it and just do it better, man.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't want to bring that up, but it's gonna be live.
Let's do a multiverse. Let's go with the World Between Worlds from the Clone Wars series. Let's redo the sequel trilogy.
Yeah,
let's go back in time and erase that whole fucking disaster.
I want to rant about the Rise of Skywalker. So this whole thing.
Oh, that was Star Wars Rebels.
I hated how they did Luke like that. All that bothered me. Everything bothered me. Everything.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing worse than the Emperor just coming back for no reason. That doesn't make any sense.
You know what? We should do Luke dying from all the Star Wars stuff, and we can discuss all this stuff.
Huh?
Well,
Luke was worse, but the Emperor coming back, I'm like, because they no reason.
Because cloning.
At the same time, though, to be fair, if you understand the story between him and Darth Plagueis, you understand that there was a lot of things that he took from Darth Plagueis.
Exactly.
And why wasn't it?
No, they could have did that though, but they didn't plan it. They
why wasn't it Plagueis?
Yes.
And to be fair,
everybody wanted to see him.
To be fair,
Miguel,
let's not forget that Luke did transition like Master Yoda. So in terms of that, so
I had a problem with that still. I still had a problem because I felt Luke wasn't as aged as Master Yoda, shall I say?
Well, Master Yoda is 900 years old.
Right. He's only 900 years, right?
So I mean,
I understand what you're saying.
Got a little scruffy Luke running around killing shit for a little bit.
It was either you gonna get there at old age or your ass gonna get there because of enlightenment. Which one is it? In Yoda's case, his ass. Listen, it was time, bro.
I mean,
It was time to go.
Right.
Rise of Skywalker single-handedly killed the entire sequel. Snoke
Yep.
was nobody,
Yep.
right? And she's a Palpatine, but bro,
Now
get the
she's a
fuck outta
Palpatine,
here,
right,
man.
She was a
yeah.
Mary Sue, clearly, but that's not my biggest issue. I mean, it's a MacGuffin. It's the Emperor and the random audience that just came out of nowhere when they were in their last battle. Saying, like, where they come from? That was so much. Anyway, I got to move for
hated
days.
it.
Anyway,
Oh my god, yeah.
back
I do
to this
remember that
movie.
random audience.
This show. So the train we all love. The action was great.
Yep.
How Boba handled it. How he kind of left them in a good way at the end. So they come back, and now the chief really respects him at this point. So they go inside the hut or eat a hut, I guess, and they got the spice. So the spice ain't new to the Tuscans apparently, because they know how to use the spice.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
he's like, he had a gift for him, pull out this lizard, and then throw the spice on him, and the lizard goes up his nose, and now he's in this random dream. The dream with the tree pulls off the branch comes back, and he creates his weapon. So how'd you feel about that, Chris?
Yeah, that's something we didn't know about the Tuscans, right? Their whole rituals. And then now he's like an official Tuscan Raider himself, man. That was so cool. I didn't expect the lizard to climb up his nose, though.
Yeah, that was.
That shit's like, I think I swallowed it. Oh man,
That fucked me up.
He went on his vision quest. What was with the tree though? With all the eyes though, they were supposed to be those little what do you call them? Those little guys who drive those big.
The little guys that's with the
what are
all
they
black
called?
with the yellow eyes.
Yeah, with the glowing eyes. That was supposed to be them, but I didn't get the reference of that. I don't know why. I'm a pitiful Star Wars fan. I can't think of the name of those things. But anyway,
Jawas.
Jawas, yeah. What was with the Jawas with the glowing eyes? What was that all about, right? And then he had that vision of himself in the Sarlacc and how that, that was pretty cool. He's going through his whole life, how he lost his father and all that other stuff, man. And I guess this was like him finding himself finally, was what this spirit walk or spirit quest was, the vision quest. And now we know where Boba got his skills when he came in Mandalorian and whooped them stormtroopers. So I love it. I loved it.
I feel like that vision quest, before I get to you, Josh, was the Sarlacc especially was showing like his where he relived, where he was at imminent death. Pretty much, really, that's probably the biggest for his life at that time, because he was such a badass for so many years. For him, that probably was the one moment where he really felt like, I really might die here. So
His most vulnerable, yeah.
So I feel like that's why that was so imperative to that vision quest. But Josh, go ahead. What do you think about the whole thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love the sequence, because I'm prone to more esoteric wisdom and things like that. So I thought that was great with the parallels with the lizard, and it kind of reminds you of the frogs in the Amazon. If you lick them, you'll hallucinate, and then that's the type of peyote type of trance hallucination, spiritual enlightenment type of thing. And then to your point, Chris, about the Jawas, I think the Jawas may also be somewhat indigenous to the land as well, so maybe that's why they were incorporated in that. So maybe we'll see that payoff in the future as well. But I thought that was great with the whole finding your staff, and it literally reminded me of how Jedis have to learn to make their lightsaber. So it reminded me exactly of that process. So I thought that was cool, and I really like that as a whole. You get to learn more about their culture as well. So, and to your point, Miguel, this is officially and I feel like it parallels with their culture is a cycle of rebirth, that type of thing. So he's literally reborn as a different person. So I thought that.
This is why we need Josh on the show, man. I'm telling
you.
Yep. Well said, dude. Well said.
Maine, your thoughts on that whole thing right there?
To piggyback off of what Josh was saying, I think that this was very symbolic to me, because what this was showing where one trail ends, another one begins. And so what this meant to me was that you saw the ending of, I guess you could say, the original Boba Fett story coming full circle, and then now by the current Boba Fett finding that branch and finding the tree, this is now rebirth into, this is now his journey. He's assimilated and taken all the knowledge that he's gotten from the other Boba Fett, and now this is where the path diverts, and now he's on his own path now. From here on out, this is all him, and I think that was very symbolic of that as well.
I'm gonna come back to you guys on that. How you felt about the whole scene with the spice and the lizard and him having his vision quest?
I feel what they're saying. Now, see, for me, I just felt like as a regular man and human, we learn something new every day. So I just felt like he was just going through the motions as he was supposed to in the first place. So it didn't seem like I don't know. I also felt like it was dragged out a little bit. You know, I want action. So so
You're action junkie. You're not wrong with that.
yeah, I'm an action junkie. Sorry.
So since Josh and Man, you were talking about how was his rebirth and this new way. Do you think this kind of sequence and him even being with them is what made him change to being more of a ruling with respect rather than being the badass that he was before this?
Wow, I had not thought of that.
Mm.
Like
I do.
I can definitely see that. I feel like he also kind of had that before, since he wasn't as devout as Mando in terms of the Mandalorian lore. Like he took off his helmet, things like that. So to your point, Miguel, yes, but I feel like he was already transitioning there, and this was like the final push.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Well, he's got Mandalorian lineage. Now he's got Tusken Raider skills. Like, what? This man's becoming a badass every episode, even more, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's gonna
speaking of the badass, he gets a badass staff.
that
he pulls from the tree. And instead of them coming back and they making him, I thought it was interesting. They said, "No, we're gonna show you how to make it. You're gonna do it yourself."
Yeah, you're doing it yourself
right now. And see if I can buy one.
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of made it, and by his hand, and that became his weapon at that point. So yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome. What you guys think about that? So,
yeah, I thought that was good. I just figured that you see how quick he went back to that armor once he got to it. You know what I mean? So when it comes to space, you still need the tech.
Right.
Okay. Interesting too. That he had this time with Tusken Raiders and felt and learned their ways, having a little less technology, but still really wanted his technology back.
Right. Because it makes him more dangerous, though. Like if he doesn't have his technology, he'd still be able to get with you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
True.
I think that him making his own staff is really it's great, because what they were basically saying was that you're now an honorary member of our tribe and everything like that, but this is something that you have to do because what you create it speaks to your path and your journey. So it's basically, it's like your fingerprint. This staff is you, and you are the person alone that, based off of everything you've been through, everything you learned thus far, you'll see that in your staff every single time.
And every Tusken you meet to see that's your staff.
Yep.
They're gonna know that's your story.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. And like I said before, it's the parallel with the Jedi's building their own lightsaber, or the Mandalorians getting their own logo. So I love the parallels between all that.
Yep.
I think sorry, go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead.
I'm predicting that at some point in this episode, shit's gonna go down, Boba's gonna be in trouble, and the Tusken's gonna save his ass. I think they're what I mean?
Down.
Like,
army wise, because he's gonna need that.
He's gonna get overwhelmed. It looked like he's gonna die, and the Tusken Raiders are gonna come to his aid, and there's so many of them. Like how it was in Dune,
and I'm sure it'll be like I'm sure it'll be the chief and that girl will be the main ones that'll be there.
Oh, absolutely.
And not only that, I guarantee they're gonna be running the city with him too.
Remember how
I was gonna say the same thing. Man, I'm telling you, the end of the show, I'm predicting that
that city
they're
gonna
have a
lit.
scene where they're gonna have him at the chair,
and
it's gonna show. Man, they both be. I think I'm all of them, like a couple of the Tusken Raiders just standing right next to them. They could be like, okay, we're gonna leave the city. We're gonna do what we got to do to stand by your side. We pledge allegiance. We're gonna make this thing work. We're gonna run this goddamn town.
He's gonna rule all of Tatooine with the Tuskens by the end of this.
Man.
Emperor of Tatooine, Boba Fett.
And you know what's gonna happen? The twins are gonna have to get up on that shit or die.
They're gonna die.
You know what I mean?
Bro.
Like,
they're
get up on the ship and go up out of here or die, man.
Yeah. Kind of like how kind of like how in Dune, how they thought there were only a couple Fremen, but there really were millions of them.
Millions! Oh my god, that was a messed up setup.
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think you all are right. I think the Tuskens will show back up, maybe to help him at some point, like where people don't think he's like all done and got no help. Maybe him and Fennec are like already at a place where they can't get out. But I also think maybe that we'll see him piggyback on what you said earlier. Well, like for some reason his tech doesn't work, or he loses his tech, has to go back to the Tuscan ways to
Yep.
defeat somebody. You know,
Oh, we saw that too in the bar scene. He used that, his training stick to whoop all that ass. So.
Right, but I'm saying I think it'll come back.
Yeah, 100%.
He has.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's
love it.
Well, so then we see the final, I guess, ceremony where you said, Chris,
I
he
love
officially
that.
becomes a Tuscan Raider. He gets the garb first, fully fitted for him. And then they come out and they do their little dance, I guess we'll call it. But Josh was smiling about it. How you felt about that, bro?
Oh, that was great. That reminded me of the end of what's it called? The Return of the Jedi, when everyone's dancing and celebrating at the end. I thought that was cool to see that ceremony, and it makes sense that they would, do it surrounded by fire at night. I thought that was fantastic.
Yep.
And to Eve's point, it kind of reminded me of when George W. Bush was doing the doing all that.
Yo.
Chris, what your thoughts on that ending ceremony? Him getting the garb and the.
I just have a little Easter egg on that. So supposedly, Tamara Morrison is from New Zealand, right? And the tribes of New Zealand, that whole dance was based on those tribes, the Maori, I believe.
I
thought
Maori, yeah.
So I think he brought that in.
Because I was thinking it was like the Hawaiians when they do the
haka.
Right.
Yeah.
That was definitely New Zealand inspired, and which was awesome. So, man, Robert Rodriguez is killing it, man.
Yeah, he is.
So, Maine, I should go first. If I say what I'm gonna say, Maine, what do you think?
I also, before I forget, it's the Samoans that does the haka. I don't want
they did it in Hobbs and Shaw. They did it. Actually.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I agree 100% with what Josh was saying. I think it was also a great. It was actually just a feel good moment for me, man. It was
it was tribal.
They let this outsider in, and they welcomed him in, and because they felt like he really deserved it, and he really belonged, and it was a symbol of good faith and trust, and just a good overall feel good moment, man. I don't know what else to say about that. It just felt really, really good to watch. So I was proud. I was like, yo, this is a show, and I'm proud of you, dog. Like, what?
So why do y'all think that? Well, a couple of things. Why do y'all think that he didn't just stay with them instead of like trying to go back and find his actual armor and stuff like that later? I don't want to see it yet, but what are y'all predicting? Well, why'd that happen? I guess I should say. Anybody have thoughts on that?
Wait, say that again. What?
Why do you think he didn't just stay with the Tuscan Raiders inside the tribe instead of eventually going to locate and then get his armor? Like, what do you predict?
That's easy. That was his father's, right? That was in his inheritance, man. He gonna get it. He is.
He watched his dad fight.
The Mandalorian. Right? So
he's gonna stay there.
We're gonna see him get his ship back at some point. Yeah. And I don't know what they're calling it now.
We'll see. Okay, I think you're right about him. Like, because again, like he's been all over the galaxy, and even in Mandalorian, we see that when he leaves them, he's nowhere near Tatooine, but he comes back there. So I think he's kind of drawn to the Tuskens at this point as well.
Maybe, yeah.
He didn't have to go. He could have went anywhere. Him and Fennec together, but they decided to go back there and take over. So I think.
And to your point, Miguel, because didn't we see in Mandalorian someone else had his dad's armor? So I feel like that might make him come out of the Tuscan mode and be like,
he might have saw what's the guy who had the armor? I forget his name, but maybe he saw him with the armor inside him.
The dude who stole his or had his armor? I don't remember the mayor of that one little town or whatever. From Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. I forget his name.
Maybe he saw it from afar or something like that, and then decided, I got to get my armor. But that might have triggered him.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, it was Mando who found it, right? And like, hey, that's Mandalorian armor. You can't have that. Right. And then he ran into Boba Fett.
Right. But the guy had it for a while. He was like running the town with it and stuff like that. He was using that armor as like a scare tactic.
Oh, right.
He was pretending like he wasn't.
He was acting like Sarlacc. He never left.
Right.
That was the cowboy, right?
Yeah, the cowboy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a good actor too. I remember him in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, to tell me all that.
Yep.
Yeah, he was acting like he was a Mandalorian the whole time. So that's why.
Yeah, he was definitely using his shit. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe Boba saw it and trigger him. We don't know how many years he was with the Tuskens. But anyway, man, we gotta rate the episode. So 1 through 10. What would you give it, Chris?
Man, I I know I can't give it a 10 because nothing's perfect, right? 10 is like the unicorn, right? So this one was 9 for me, easily.
Okay.
Easily a 9. And I don't know how they're gonna top this one, man. But I have a feeling we ain't seen nothing yet.
I know we ain't seen nothing yet, but
Josh.
It's definitely a solid, strong 9 for me. And I know, we'll probably get into it. Big Mike and E didn't really like the flashbacks, but the fact that it was so good and a lot of people didn't really like the flashbacks, again, me personally, I loved it. I know Chloe loved it. So for me, definitely a strong 9. And I think the sky's the limit because now we're going to have more flashbacks, but also we have a juicier,
juicy.
A present time with the big bad twin. So I think it's going to be very interesting how they tie a bow on this.
Man, that was your first show with us, bro. We like to rate the shows. What'd you think, man?
And please come back.
Man, listen, I appreciate that, man. I will do. But I also will give it a 9. Here's why. I understand E Money's talking about the he's an action dude, and I respect that. The reason why I actually like the flashback scenes is you can't run all the time. You can't. You have to slow things down, and I think that these moments where you slow the pacing down, it further drives the plot. You got to have these plot devices to tell that story, so that way when you get to running again, you have a better understanding of why they're running and why the action is picking up. Instead of just saying action, 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 you'd be like, man, that was a good show. And turn like, no, what the fuck was that about? You know what I mean? So it's you know what I mean. So it's like,
I agree with that because
facts,
you got movies like Fast 9, which is all action, which is trash.
I still ain't see that mess.
Yeah.
And
so
to
yeah,
me,
I think that was good.
Absolutely. And to Main's point, to add on to that, because Miguel had a lot of issues with when Mandalorian got slow. It looks like they learned from their mistakes in Mandalorian.
They did,
which is great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they're a machine, man. They got it.
Yeah, E.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna give that thing a good 7. I understand the flashbacking and all that. It was action. It was action in the flashback, especially with the train and all that stuff. I respect that, but it still gets a 7 because I wanted to get back to where that standoff was at. I wanted to get back to the evil looks. I wanted to get back to the black, the black Wookiee. I wanted to, once we got back to that, I was like, oh.
Do you think there's gonna be flashbacks every episode, or you think
yes, man. Yes.
Yeah, they have to. They have to.
Every time he go in that tank.
Story.
Yeah, I think they will, and that's my point. That's why I'm gonna go with an 8. Honestly, I probably wasn't a 7, but between watching the Easter egg videos and talking to you guys, it kind of moved me up, and I learned I will not watch these episodes at 3:00 in the morning anymore because I feel like me being already sleepy. It wasn't a good thing for me, so I will not do that anymore. Because now I'm like waiting for it to end so I can go to sleep. So I feel like that was probably a bad thing. But I'm gonna go with an 8. The flashbacks I don't mind so much, but I feel like the first episode where like I wanted to be more time in the present and less time. This one was kind of like almost like 3/4 of flashbacks and like a short time in the present. So I don't mind it.
I can agree with that a little bit.
But or even if it was more evened out, even. But I feel like this one was way more flashback time.
Just both aspects of it to me were just so fabulous, man. Like,
yeah, I'm going with an 8 because it was definitely still good.
What did I give the first episode? An 8? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
but you know what?
Like way better.
I think where E's point is that when you get this whole standoff with the Hutts and you want to say, okay, what's happening next? So what's happening next in that story is now for the next episode instead of in that episode.
That's like Luke and Darth Vader doing a standoff, and then somebody had a flashback. And you looking at Luke swimming, thinking about his mom eating chicken and all. Like,
okay.
Well, I get that, E, but at the same time, it's only episode 2. Right. So Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't have everything happen on episode 2. So I feel like it's going to be a great crescendo later on in the episodes. And I think you guys are going to love the payoffs eventually from these flashbacks at the end of the season.
I agree. I definitely agree.
I definitely agree.
But I agree with Main's story about
you ever see them shows where in the beginning, the hero and the villain are having a standoff, and then it cuts to a flashback, and then the whole show is the flashback, and at the end it finally goes to that fight. Like, what?
Yep.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead, buddy.
I was just saying I agree with Maine. Go ahead, Maine.
Speaking of that, man, I was just about to say anybody else. I'm an anime guy too, man.
John's about to say Dragon Ball Z. Oh my
Anybody gets
god!
the Dragon Ball Z
I was
box?
just about to say
Find
Dragon
out next
Ball
time.
Z, bro.
Find out next time.
That's
Find
Goku
out
on
next
I
time.
hated that. He be, you like, yeah.
Right.
And
Next
then you
And
got
in
time
the
on
next
Dragon Ball
episode,
Z.
they still don't get into it. They
Right,
talk
next
about his
time on
training with
Dragon
how
Ball
he-
Z, he's still powering up.
yo, that the first Goku versus Vegeta fight was like a whole season. Like,
Oh,
Yeah,
Bruh.
right, right.
Yo, listen,
Yo, are
but
they still making shows for DBZ?
I mean, I see
Yeah, they
two.
went to
Yeah,
Super.
I think they
They
do.
went
I
to
think they
Super.
are.
Yeah, they still
Yeah.
working. They
Okay,
still cranking
okay.
out content.
yeah, I think
Interesting.
they are. Yeah, I mean the game's more popular than ever right now. So
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I agree with Man on the build up part. I like a good story too. Don't get me wrong. I watch, I just watched a movie about Kurt Warner last week at the movie theater.
How was that?
Story. I liked it. I liked it a lot actually. So,
It was
but
good?
Oh,
to me, but I like movies, so I can't say everybody else
But-
like that. So, but
Yeah,
I was into it hard. So yeah, no, I get that part. So just so far, I just think Mando was so great, in every way to me, in a lot of different ways. So I think what is missing still is that number one, that whole Grogu MacGuffin, which kind of kept the story going with Mando even more. And as I said last week, this comparison to, like I said, Daredevil or or a Punisher versus like the Guardians, maybe, like, or even Avengers, like they're more street level, where I feel like Boba's more street level. He's only on Tatooine, right? That's all we see. Where like Mando, he probably went to like 9 different planets, throughout the whole.
Yeah, Mando.
I think when he gets his shit back, he'll head somewhere.
I don't think
Right.
so, because his whole thing is being taken over Jabba's palace.
Maybe he'll go right to Nal Hutta to kill the twins, man.
I mean, but let's give Boba his flowers. When he was Mando in his hay,
Yeah, I'm about to say, he
was
already
going
did
all
all
over
that.
the galaxy.
He was.
He
I
did
mean,
all that already.
He might be
right.
trying to retire
Yep.
and just run Jabba's palace. I feel like.
Right, that's
Yep.
what I'm
Right.
thinking.
Oh,
'Cause he
100%.
did all that. He did what Mandalorian
Yeah,
was
100%.
doing already.
That's his retirement right
That's
there.
what got him in the mouth of that thing.
Right.
So now he's
right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not
Into what you were saying.
Go ahead,
My
Nate.
bad. I was saying, so what you were saying was that you looking for that MacGuffin. I think that this also solidifies every story that's being told. This is what makes them different. This is what sets them apart. Like you were saying, the MacGuffin with the Mandalorian, that was his thing. But at the same time, with Boba Fett, he's been there, done that. So this is now his, like, okay, now I'm settling down. I'm getting my shit together, getting my affairs together. I'm noticing some relationships that I can rebuild or rekindle and start to add to this overall hub and this world that I'm trying to build. And I think that this is what sets every story apart. So whatever story they do next, they'll have that unique story that they're telling, and this happens to be Boba Fett's.
That's true, because Mandalorian, since Grogu left, now he don't have a
Right.
MacGuffin anymore. So his story gonna be different too. Now,
Yep.
when it comes to season 3,
Grogu, man.
Yep.
Grogu is crazy.
So we'll see about that. But anyway, fellas, man, I appreciate you all coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
Maine, man, like
Absolutely.
Chris said earlier, you are invited anytime.
Yeah.
I know you're in Cali, so the time difference is a little, different for you and stuff like that. So it's
Oh,
probably
he
still
Cali.
good.
Okay.
early there. But when you can join, man, I'll try to make it like same thing, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So maybe
Yeah, that's good.
get up and
I'm
join us.
down.
I mean, next week. So we'll keep talking about these episodes. Josh, as you know, man, you're brother. You're always on, man. Of course, Ian.
I
Chris,
need
so-
everybody to stay on for a quick second. All
All right, well, I'm going to end the show. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody in the chat, and we'll see you guys next week. Tomorrow, episode of Big Mike and Little Ant, our original show. Josh is back tomorrow.
Okay, that's
What are
what's
you guys
up.
discussing tomorrow?
Oh no! Well, okay, real quick, we talked about this already. With Big Mike and Little Ant show, the way the format works is that I come with 3 topics, he comes with 3 topics, but we don't know each other's topics.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
All
So
right,
we
that's
ask
neat.
questions without knowing up front, and then we got to give our responses. Then we do some versus questions, but it's a good show. I don't know if you ever got seen it before. We haven't done it in months, but our
Yeah, I'm
original
gonna be
show
there.
is back
I'm gonna
I'll
watch
check it out. I'm definitely going to check it out.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
11:30 to 11:30
man.
p.m. stuff like that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you guys later.
And may the force be with you.